My first trip to the adjustment center was I was in East Block, and a guy showed up by the name of John Silva. He went by Sleprock. So I had known that he had locked up from Mule Creek over a drug debt. So when he got to East Block, basically I coaxed him out to the yard, and when he came out, we were already on the yard. Myself and a guy from L.A., Casey Johnson, we got on him and stomped him out. The gunner back then was a little tiny lady by the name of McGee. She was the best shot at San Quentin. Over the years, she ended up shooting me with the block gun at least a dozen different times, probably. But she was on the gun, so when we got on him, she shot, I think it was 4 or 5 shots with the multiple baton rounds. And then when dude was unconscious and bloody, we started stomping on him. And finally, we ended up got down, proned out, and for some reason, they called Casey Johnson off the yard, and for some reason, I felt the need to get up and take off on him again, and kicked him a couple more times. And when I did, she chambered around in the Mini 14. And she yelled down and said, "Kobe, I'm gonna have to shoot you," basically. And I didn't think she was. And she fired off a round. It hit the wall, probably 3 or 4 inches from my face, and the whole side of my face was splinters from the concrete of the wall. When she shot the wall, the concrete splinters sprayed the side of my face. And that definitely got my attention. So I laid down and then was called off the yard. When I got off the yard to get cuffed, they didn't even take me back to my cell. I went to the adjustment center. It was the first time I'd been over there. They put me in a quiet cell. I think it was 167. And I remember the next day when I went to shower, I had bruises. I had a bruise on the top of my foot and a bruise on the top of my head from the multiple baton rounds, and then bruises everywhere in between. So all the way from my foot to the top of my head, I had bruises, and then all these concrete splinters in my face. But that girl, they called her Tiny Woman. She was a little bitty girl, and she was the best shot at San Quentin, and she could have killed me if she wanted to. She would have been justified in killing me, but she didn't. So for that, I'm thankful. Even though she shot me numerous times on numerous different assaults and melees and stuff, I still had a lot of respect for her. She was a good lady.
Okay, so they get Big Bertha up the block gun, right? Were they shooting wood?
Yeah.
At that time, wooden blocks?
No, at that time it was 5 rubber blocks. Over the years, they've used different things. Back when I first started, they would shoot 1 wooden block, and then it went to 5 rubber blocks, and then now it's one larger rubber block. But they're about 1.5 inches long and about as big around as a D battery.
Oh.
Real hard rubber.
And which one would you say was the worst to get hit by? Which round?
Probably either the new one, which is just one block, or the original wooden block.
And are these things putting out power like those shotguns they have, where like a real actual 12 gauge shotgun, and the projectiles aren't ball bearings, but they're rubber? Are they putting out, like, what would you say? How much power are those things pushing? If you could compare it.
I mean, I've been shot with them. I've been like 40 yards away and shot with them.
Oh.
I've been knocked off my feet. I've seen bones broken. I've seen a dude pirate that was on death row. I've seen his eye hanging out of its socket down below his chin. So they put out some power.
Yeah. Weren't they supposed to skip them or something? They weren't supposed to like directly shoot you.
Well, the wooden one and the one that they got now, they just direct fired. When it was the five rubber bullets, they always wrote in the write up, I skip fired it into them, but they very rarely did.
Did you ever see someone get hit by one of
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
Say like in the temple or a soft spot on the head, and it killed them or did brain damage or anything like that?
I never seen anybody killed with the block gun. I seen a guy shot in the forehead in Corcoran on the shoe yard there with the block gun, and it peeled his whole cap back. But I never seen anybody killed.
Okay, and then you said this is the first time a Mini 14 was used up there?
Well, it wasn't the first time one had been used, but
Okay.
It was the first time that one had been fired out there in years. That's a real rarity.
And then, how far away is the gunner from you guys in that where it happened at?
Maybe 15, 20 yards.
Oh shit, dude! So, yeah, you actually heard her chamber around, like, cock the gun.
Oh yeah, I heard her. I heard her chamber the round, and then I heard her telling me, "Kobe, get down." And I thought she was gonna fire a warning shot. She did fire a warning shot. It was just a little closer than I thought it was gonna be.
What was going through your head when you heard that? All that.
Well, the block gun, I wasn't feeling those at the time, but those when those splinters from the concrete went into my face, that I felt that instantly.
And so they're shooting. Are they full metal jacket? Not what's the caliber? 9mm in the Mini 14?
No, the Mini 14's a 223. The 9mm that they use some places is a HK94.
Okay, so that's a deer round, man. That's a big fucking grain bullet. Probably 60 grain or 55.
Yeah.
And
that's a combat round.
Yeah, it's basically a 5.56, just less. It doesn't matter. 15, 20 yards. You get hit by that, so something's gonna go missing, or you're gonna probably die. But when it hit the wall, like that had to be nuts, man. Did you hear the bullet go by you? Did you hear that they make?
No, I heard her chamber. I heard her still yelling my name, and then I heard the shot, which sounded. I knew instantly what it was. I mean, it sounded totally different than the block gun, and I didn't hear it go by. I didn't hear it hit the wall either. I just heard the round, and then my whole side of my face felt like it was on fire.
And then she get the spray from the wall, and were there weapons involved? Were you guys using weapons or just beating them up?
No, we weren't using weapons. We were just stomping him out. He was unconscious, and we were still jumping up and down on his head, stomping him out.
What ended up happening to dude? Do you know?
We both went to the adjustment center. He when he came to or came back to East Block, he the guys that were still over there, they basically told him that Kobe was tripping. It's all right now. Go ahead and come back out here, and it's all good. It was mistaken identity. He sends his. He said it was his bad, and then he went back out there and they removed him again.
Guy's not too bright, man.
Yeah, not too bright.
Yeah. And then, do you know what happened to him after that?
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
No, I haven't heard nothing else about him in years.
Okay. Yeah, that man, that's got to be like, I've seen pictures of those. Are they the little yards where they got like the chain link fence separating them? There's like 5 or 6 of them.
Yeah, there's 6 yards on the bay side of East Block.
Damn, dude, that's like shooting fish in a barrel. That's wild. And then, you mentioned Corcoran. What years were you in the shoe?
In 17 when I got there.
Oh, 2017.
Yeah.
And then, you hadn't been there before. You were just in the bay.
No, I've done all my shoe terms at Pelican Bay.
Okay, so Corcoran, right? Were they having the group yard still that, or were they doing the segregated in 2017?
They were segregated, and then most people were on walk alone by that time.
And you
now almost everywhere is walk alone. They went from group yards to now it's what they call the dog kennels. It's just basically a little cage about the size of your bathroom that you get to go out by yourself and exercise in. It's one of their new control methods of breaking stuff up.
I've seen pictures of those, man. They look just like you said, enlarged giant dog kennels, man. Not giant, but they're just big steel cages, man. It's kind of fucked up thinking about it. You put a human being in, like, you're supposed to let them outside, right, to get sun and exercise, but you put them in a confined space. You know, that kind of defeats the whole purpose. And I guess the group yards would have been the same when those concrete yards they had.
Yeah, I mean, we did it to ourselves though. Like, we couldn't keep from killing each other or trying to, and that's why I always say we always shoot ourselves in the foot. Every time we got something good going, we fuck it up with some politics or some shit that ain't. We fuck ourselves all the time.
And did you in Corcoran? Did you ever see anyone get shot there with the Mini 14?
No.
Okay, so
no.
that was just.
I wasn't at Corcoran very long.
Okay.
I was in the shoe, and then in the.
You have 60 seconds remaining.
The shoe, and then the THU, and then I was out there on the shoe kickout yard for 5 weeks. That's where I got Scott Dulesky before I went to Salinas Valley.
Okay, I got you, man. As you guys heard, this is the end of this call. Kobe's going to give me a call back, and we're going to talk about something else.